Welcome to the Female Voice Podcast, the show where we champion women in business and celebrate incredible female founders shaping the future of the UK economy. I'm Roxanne, and each episode we dive deep into stories, struggles, and successes of trailblazing women who are redefining entrepreneurship. But this just isn't about storytelling, it's about impact. Women-led businesses contribute billions to the UK economy each year, yet they still face barriers when accessing funding, visibility, and with support. That's where we come in. Here today, we're going to share real insights, practical advice, and engaging conversations that challenge the status quo. So whether you're a founder, an inspiring entrepreneur, or someone who believes in leveling the playing field for women, you are in the right place. Together, we're going to amplify voices and change the game for female founders. So let's get started today. I'm really pleased to introduce you all to Fazane Fox. Fazane is a female founder business here in the East Midlands with her business production lab, Fazane Fox Production Lab. I met Fazane Fox about 2 years ago now. We were introduced through my sister, who Fazane's worked with in the past. So I would like to say thank you, firstly, for joining us. And would you be happy to do a little bit of an intro about you and your business?
So, like you said, I'm Fazane from Fazane Fox Production Agency. The business is 14 years old this year. I started off back in 2011, I think now, with a women's wear brand. So I didn't start off with a production agency. After about a year of doing that, I was really struggling with basically getting my brand to sell. But I was very lucky to win a mentoring program with ASOS Marketplace and a company in London called Fashion Angel, which mentor fashion startups. And out of all the entrants, they felt like my brand had the most potential for growth. However, through that mentorship, I realised I was winging it. I didn't have a business plan. I didn't really, I didn't have anything that I needed, basically. So they helped me with all of that. But through that, I identified what my skill set was, which was obviously designing and developing a collection, getting it made and bringing it into the UK, which I did all myself based on the previous experience I'd had with my job at a clothing manufacturer. So we sat down and talked about how we could bring some extra income into the business to help bring someone on board to market the brand, to support me, getting into stores. So because I've got all of this experience, years of experience with suppliers all over the world and the production process, we identified that I could actually help other brands to start up, because I've done it all myself. I've got the experience, and that would bring in some cash to increase the brand awareness. It went so well, that side of the business, that when my son was born 9 years ago, I decided to close the brand down because, even though the production side was bringing in money, I didn't have time to focus on both. And I just, even though it was really sad for me to close that part of the business down, because that's what I'd always wanted to do, is have a fashion brand. Sometimes you have to go where the business takes you. You can't, not everything's set in stone. You have to adapt and change. So I've been concentrating on that for the last 9 years. We produce for startups, established brands, designers, and some established retailers as well, offering a complete end-to-end service. So everything from branding, brand development, design, product design, technical, right through to getting the garments made in factories all over the world, and then we deliver the garment back to them. We've worked across all product categories, apart from footwear, and I think we've worked with over 100 startups to date, or brands to date. So men's, women's, kids, sports, you name it, we've done it. But over the past 2 years, I actually rebranded the business last year to the Fazane Fox Production Agency, and with a focus on products with purpose. So whereas historically we've done more fashion brands, we're focusing on, clients that have like a brand new idea to market, something that will help your lifestyle, because the fashion industry is so saturated. I just needed to find a point of difference because it's brutal out there in the fashion industry, and very hard to survive. There's so many companies like myself that are just not surviving. So we've worked on t-shirts for kids with sensory issues that have a patent on it, like medical things. We've worked on the world's first biodegradable lilo for the beach, so it's not all clothing either. So lots of really interesting products that solve a problem and therefore will be needed, rather than fashion that is naturally going to decline the amount of brands because it's not sustainable at all. And there's 100 brands that do the same thing, but working with clients that offer a really unique product, I felt would help keep us going, and it has worked.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a perfect example of being a female-led business. Is the majority of them are impactful, they are purposeful, they do want to work on projects and help people to find solutions that are going to help to change the world or make an impact or come across problems that they've encountered themselves. And I know you introduced me to your client that makes the sensory t-shirts, and obviously I've seen firsthand the work that you've done has helped have an impact on people, adults and children, that have got sensory issues with their product, and they're really having a huge impact for that sector. So it kind of resonates really well with the fact that you being a female founder, your business is passion driven, because obviously fashion's your passion, and then you want to use your skills and expertise to help others to make a difference. It's really, yeah. I think I think that's why I love working with purpose-led businesses as well so much, because you kind of get a sense of achievement and well-being for yourself, isn't it? That you're doing something to help somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And reading the comments saying my child's been able to go to school for the first time in 4 years because of this t-shirt, it's really nice. Like, as I said, fashion production can be brutal. And a few years ago I was getting very down about it all, but having these clients, it gives me a reason to want to do it. And making a client happy that I've made their dream a reality, but it's also helping people is what keeps me going.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. It is fantastic. So obviously we've spoken about the challenges you've had to evolve the business. Adaptability obviously is a really important factor that you've been through. And obviously you've had some challenges outside of that as well. We're both boy mums, so we both have to manage running businesses of our own with balancing home life and football practices and everything else that we have going on, being boy mums as well. So obviously that has an impact on your time, obviously being sole founder and responsible for a small human. Now tell me about how do you manage your day-to-day responsibilities with obviously having a team. I've been in your office and I've seen your lovely staff that you've got there. How do you juggle? How do you prioritise and manage the struggle of running a business and a family as well?
Super organised. I have lists everywhere, plan everything into my my calendar looks ridiculous, the amount of bits and bobs. Otherwise, I would forget. To be honest, I'll be honest. It's hard. It's not easy. And some days I'll go home and just think, oh, I'm so tired. I can't do this. But I find a good night's sleep always helps. I've got really supportive family around me. So, my mum will help out with my son. My son's father's also really helpful. We share custody 50-50. So actually I do have half the week where I can concentrate on the business, and then my other half, even though I still work, my focus is on my son. Yeah, it's just good support around you and good staff. And I have staff that I can go and say, I'm struggling or I need your help, and everyone will rally together and we just get through it. But yeah, it is hard work.
Yeah, it really is hard work. I've said 100 times I couldn't cope without my parents being so local. They're superly helpful and available whenever I need them to do it. It's all about the network and the support system, isn't it, that we have, that we're fortunate to have. But also I feel very aware that I'm in a fortunate position that I've got them to be there for me, and also fully aware that not everybody has that around them. So, network brings me on to the next question. You have supported us and attended all of our networking events last year, and also your name's down to come to the next one in March as well. How do you feel about networking? Does it make you uncomfortable? Is there any kind of awkward situations that you've encountered networking that would put you off doing it in the future?
So when I first started my brand, I did a lot of networking because obviously everyone says, "Oh, you've got to network," and my brand was aimed at business women. I absolutely hated it. I did it all. I was always at a networking event, and it was just people selling me things that I didn't want instead of like building a relationship. And it was usually like cosmetics or something from one of those MLM companies, which I hate. No, I just found it really difficult. And actually, even though, like, on the surface, I look like I'm a very confident person, I get very anxious having to go into a room full of people I don't know and sell myself. So, I did it for a few years and I did make some good contacts, but they didn't come into fruition until years later. It didn't really help me sell my brand because I had no physical products to show them when I was doing it all. So I stopped for a while until like things changed a little bit. So in a lockdown, there was more like Zoom networking meetings, and that was easier for me. I felt much more comfortable, and they were a bit more focused. Like I was part of a peer network, and they were all creative, so I found that very useful. I find like your networking events where it's a bit more informal, like we go for a walk and we can just have a chat, and it's not selling. It's not I've been to networking events where you sit around a table and you have to stand up and introduce business, and I hate it. I mean, my business anyway is not, we're not corporate, we're not stiff. And I found, all these networking events very, yeah, a bit too corporate and not.
Yeah, no, I know exactly how you feel. So that's why we try and do our networking differently. Like to be outside, everyone going for a walk. It just makes the conversation easy. It's not, you're not all sat around a table staring at each other, waiting for somebody to speak, or you don't. I get really nervous doing things like that. I really, even now, standing up on stage or being in a room and you have to do like your elevator pitch and your 60-second, this is who we are and what we do. And I'm like, oh, like every now and it gets to you in your stomach, doesn't it?
Yeah, women, we prefer like to make personal connections more, like, chat. It might not even be about business, it might be something else, but I find like as a woman, we connect with each other with the other things, and then like the business comes later, or I'll mention what I do and then something might come of it in a few weeks. But I'd rather, I find networking better just to make connections and have women around me that can support me, or I know I could message them and ask them for advice, rather than going out specifically to sell. I prefer to make connections and
Yeah,
got those people to support me if I need, or that to support my clients. I mean, obviously we've referred a few of our clients to you, and you're on the website, because obviously access and finance is really important for a lot of the startups that we work with. So.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And always remember someone said to me, when you go to networking events, when you walk in, don't automatically think, what am I going to get from this? Should be
Yeah.
thinking like, how can I help these people that are in this room? What value can I add to them to try and help them in their businesses? And then that's how the relationship builds. And I know, from the events that we've done, obviously you've networked with the other women there. That's resulted in successful partnerships within the group as well. But everybody kind of goes into that arena and they're like, because we are all women, they all want to help each other. We all want to have open, relaxed, informal conversations. And I just think it really does help. It really does help with the relationship building.
Also, just even getting out of the office, You know,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll treat a networking event as like a little treat. So I can get out
Yeah.
and just have a nice chat or a cake or a drink. Do you know what I mean? I go to another networking group that is a bit more corporate, but it's like a 3-course dinner. And I like just, I don't go to get business. I go just to chat to fellow business owners, you know, have a nice meal and just get myself away from like the day to day. And that helps, you know, my focus. Like I'll have a really good think on the way there and on the way back. And, you know, just finding out about other people helps me and it helps my business. So
Yeah, exactly. And it's taking that first step, isn't it, to get away from the desk and to force yourself away from the laptop and the emails and the messages to actually go and have some time for yourself as well.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And make some
exactly.
good friends because, you know, that's also what it's about as well, is making, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, as a female founder, would you have any advice for any other women that would want to perhaps start a business in clothing production or fashion? If you had any kind of, oh my God moments, I'll never do that again, or that's kind of in the opposite way, like a planet's aligning, this is amazing, I need to tell everybody this is how you should do it.
My experience, I didn't really plan anything. I didn't know what a business plan was because I'd done a design degree. I then worked as a clothing supplier. I had no experience in business at all. And, you know, getting that right in the beginning. So, like your business plan, if you're going to start a fashion brand, you need to do so much research on like who your customer is, who your competition is, what the feel of the brand is, what the voice is, what the message is. All of that pre-planning is so important. And I didn't do any of that. A lot of it I didn't do till maybe 10 years later, if I'm honest. But now I can see how important that is. And also, you know, obviously I had all the experience in fashion. I didn't really understand finance either. And that is the most important thing, is to understand the numbers. And I didn't understand the numbers until I got advice. And, you know, I think I said to my accountant and my business advisor, if I'd have just met you 14 years ago, I'd have been retired and on a beach somewhere now, because I just get it now. And, you know, when I started out, you know, the advice was just go networking and all of this. No one ever said to me, do you understand how to run a business? Do you understand the numbers? You know, I've never done like projections or anything like that, or I didn't have cash flow forecasts. Very lucky for years that I managed to make money. But once we started to grow, I lost control of it and nearly lost my business. But if I'd have done that all in the beginning, so it's planning, you know, knowing how to get investment as well. I used my sales bonuses from work, and I didn't know you could go out and get investment. I didn't know you could go to the bank. I didn't know you could do anything. So I went to a family member, which was way more difficult actually, probably, than dealing with a bank. So yeah, research, planning, have everything written down, and don't wing it like I did.
Yeah, I know when we've spoken in the past, you've had real challenges with advice and accountancy issues and not feeling like you were fully supported. But also, I do know now you've got a fantastic business mentor as well.
I have, and an all-female accountancy team, which are brilliant. Yeah, every week I have an update. Every month I get management reports, and they really explain them to me. And yeah, my business advisor's brilliant and
Yeah.
has really helped turn things around. And, you know, even meeting people like yourself has really helped. So
Yeah, brilliant. I'm glad. And so you mentioned you've got a fantastic team. How important is it to look after your staff and their well-being and make sure you're all kind of supporting each other? How does that work for you in the office?
yeah, that's so important that you have good staff. I mean, when I worked for the supply before I started my business, I was treated really terribly, made to work such long hours, and I was so miserable. And when I started the business, I mean, our tagline is not your average manufacturer. I wanted to do things differently. I wanted, you know, people to be happy at work and really want to come to work and want to be here. Um, So, we have very flexible working here. If they want to nip out and get the nails done at lunch, they can do. There's no issue going to the doctors, or they can ring me up and go, I don't feel great today, can I work from home? Fine. And just making it like a really fun place to work. We are a small team, so we are like a little family, and I think that does help. But when I nearly lost the business, might have been 3 years ago now, the girls that work for me, because I've looked after them so well, came and said, we'll take a pay cut. And it never even entered my head that I'd ask them to do that. But because they love working here and wanted the business to succeed,
yeah,
they did that. And then they sat, even when I wanted to give up, they sat me down and were like, no, you're not giving up. This is your dream. We're going to support you. And you sat around a table and tried to come up with ideas to make some money to save the business. But
yeah, that's such a fortunate position to be in as well, where you feel like you've got a team that you can have an open and honest conversation with as well. I know I've worked in some places before where it's literally the manager sits in the office, doesn't really care about the staff or the well-being or anything that's going on in the day-to-day business. So you are obviously doing an incredible job as a female business owner.
How would I want to be treated as an employee? And do it like that. And also because I'm very transparent about the business as well. I'm not like, that's your area, stick in your box. They know everything. I'm quite happy to show them the cash flow sheets, the forecasts. I ask their opinion on everything. So if a new client comes in, I want their opinion as well. Whether we should take them. And, they're often more perceptive than I am, because I'm thinking of, let's take this client on because we need the money.
Yeah.
They can often see past things and are like, no, that client's going to be a nightmare to work with. And it's a team decision. So it's not just me barking orders at everybody.
So you really empowered them to help you to grow the business.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, and being an all-female team as well, it's a great atmosphere in the office.
Yes. Too much talking sometimes, I have to say, but as part of it, it's not, I'm not that kind of boss that's going to come in and go, could you just stop talking about whatever you're talking about? Because I think it even though you are losing some time, it's important for them to build relationships and just have a little break sometimes, just to talk about something silly or
Yeah. And sometimes that's when you have your best ideas, isn't it? And your best kind of breakthrough moments, when you just have everyone's kind of relaxed and having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and then you're like, oh, actually, I've got this idea. Can we go through it now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, brilliantly. Wow, thank you so much for joining me. It was really, really great to hear about your business journey. That is a wrap for this episode. I really hope that you're feeling inspired and ready to champion more women in business. If you love today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe and follow wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss a future episode. We'd love to hear from you. Join the conversation by leaving us a review, sharing this episode with your network, and connecting with us on Instagram at Female Founder Finance. Every listen, share and comment helps us to shine a bigger spotlight on female founders and helps us to drive real change for the future. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Fazane.